Welcome back from the refreshment break. I hope everyone had a good chance to get coffee, get to meet your friends, build your network, and once again, welcome back. This session is very personally meaningful to me. For me, I'm a super big believer in people and potential. And to make that happen, financial inclusion is one of my deepest convictions. Financial inclusion, not just in the literal sense of onboarding people into the financial mainstream, but financial inclusion in a way that honors people, includes them, and most importantly, empowers them. Now with the rapid pace of technology, with the digital innovation, we're seeing new strategies, new solutions, new paradigms about the way we think about financial inclusion. But most importantly, beyond just these things, we're seeing new actors. We're seeing banks, non-banks, payment service providers, fintechs, even tech fins. And all these things are coming together in such a way that really makes us think about how can we turn on all these factors together and make financial inclusion work. Now, as we go into the panel session, I want to leave you with one thing to help frame our discussion today and for you to contextualize it so you can understand and appreciate the things that we'll be discussing. And it's very simple. Financial inclusion is not just aspirational, it's achievable. How do we do that? Let's find out from our panelists. So it's with really, really great pleasure and a true privilege to have on our stage our fellow panelists who are not just peers in the financial inclusion battle, but also allies and champions to really push the boundaries on what we can achieve when it comes to financial inclusion. We have 5 members of the panels today. We have Kun Aukrit, who is co-founder and CEO of Ricult, Budi, who is managing director of GoPay, Kun Isara, who is senior executive vice president of the personal customer group of the Government Savings Bank, Mr. Jojo, who has joined us from Wing Cambodia, and lastly, Pak Sukarela, who is deputy commissioner of the OJK Institute of Digital Finance. So without further ado, please give a big round of applause for our panelists to join us on stage. Gentlemen, welcome on stage. So super grateful for your time today. Really appreciate a lot of you who have traveled from abroad to come join us here in Thailand. Today we talk about the collaboration for the future of finance. I have zero doubt when it comes to achieving financial inclusion that the one thing that we really need the most is collaboration. So to get us started, I think it'd be really useful for the audience for them to hear about what you are doing in your specific area of work and what specific work are you undertaking in the field of financial inclusion? So, Kun Aukrit, could we start off with you?
Sure. Okay, it works. Right, can I have my slide up? Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Aukrit and I'm the CEO of an agriculture tech called Ricult. So pretty much we focus on agricultural lendings. How can we provide affordable loans to the farmers who are the most in need? So for the foreigners in the room that might not be accustomed to the agricultural sector in Thailand, so basically 40% of the Thai population are farmers, or roughly around 20 million people. And not just Thailand, but in all developing countries such as Indonesia, Vietnam, Laos. Most of the people at the bottom of the pyramid are farmers, but they face many problems, which is why they are poor. And for this talk, I will focus on the lack of access to affordable loans. So this farmer cannot just walk into commercial banks in Bangkok, like Kasikorn Bank or Bangkok Bank, to ask for loans like normal salary workers. The reason is because, first of all, they don't have credit score, they don't have collaterals, and they don't have incomes that is easily understandable. So as a normal person, salary person, you get money every month. But for the farmers, they only get money once a year when they harvest their crops. So adding on to this is climate change, which makes the risk assessment of these farmers even harder. So there are unpredictable drought, unpredictable flood, which cause total crop loss. So basically, farmers face a risk where if they face a drought, the crop is total loss and they won't have income for the whole year, right? So what happens if they cannot get loans from a commercial banks? They have to go to the loan shark, who charges them 20% per year. So they will just walk into the local market and ask from a local loan shark and get very expensive loan. So they are the poorest in the economy, but they face the highest interest rate out of all, right? So as a company, we try to see how can we use big data and use technology to help bridge the gap between the people in needs to provide them with affordable loans. So for me, I feel that financial inclusion is a data problem. The reason that banks are not able to give loans to these smallholder farmers is because of lack data. When you give loan to someone, there are two variables that you mostly look at. First of all, is the willingness to repay, which is how honest he is. And the second is the ability to repay, which is how much money he will have to pay back the loans, right? Right now, the banks don't have any of this data at all about the farmers to be able to analyze and find the most creditworthy farmers to give the affordable loans to. So at Ricult, what we do is that we create mobile apps. So one thing that has totally changed in the rural area is that now most of the farmers have access to smartphone now, right? You can get a cheap smartphone from China for like $100, $150, right? So what we do is that we create an app that farmers can download. They can specify the coordinates of the land, and we can use satellite imagery to monitor the farmland. And adding on to this is we do our own weather forecast. That as you see on the graph on the right, we can do 9-month forecast of any location in Thailand. Combining this data together, we can provide actionable information to the farmers to reduce their risk and improve their farming productivity. And we can also sell this data to the banks to give affordable loans to the farmers. So now they have more data points to understand the farmers better. So let me show you how it works. So this is an example of corn, right? This can be applied to any crop, cassava, sugarcane, rice. So every crop can be turned into a mathematical models in terms of how much water they need, how much sunlight they need. And we can map this with our 9-month forecast. So we can make a prediction to help guide the farmers at what stage of the time of the year they should plant the seed into the soil, when they should put fertilizer into the soil, when they should harvest the crops. This is Salaburi in Thailand, which is around 2 hours out from here. We can give recommendation to the farmers that if you want to maximize your income and reduce the risk, you should plant your corn in end of July, which is coming up in 2 weeks, right? And we can tell them that if they miss this opportunity and they plant the corn in September, they have a very, very high risk of facing crop loss. And this is also important to the banks or insurance company. So now they can understand the risk of their portfolio better to see like if the farmers come and ask for a loan in July, there is a good chance that the farmers can repay the loan. But if the farmers come and ask for a loan in September, there is a very, very high chance that the farmer will default because there will be a crop loss. So we provide more and more additional data points for the farmers and for the banks. So here's some example of on the left, traditional farmers who just plant like what he has been doing for 50 years, 60 years. And on the right is a farmer who used our application based on data to plant his crop, right? So after 22 days, so these two plots are only 13 days different. All the cost is the same. The only difference is the timing of planting. After 22 days, you don't see much different. But after 85 days, you can start to see a huge difference in the growth of the crops, right? At harvest, you can see a big impact on like just making the right decision on when to plant your seed, when to put fertilizer, or when to harvest. There's a huge impact on the revenues and income of the farmers. So this is pretty much like Google Maps, which help you guide your driving direction. If you get lost without Google Maps, you just wait 1 or 2 hours more in traffic in Bangkok. But for farmers, if they don't have data and they make the wrong decision, this is a difference between having revenues or no revenues to feed their whole families. So as mentioned, we can apply similar models to all any other crops in Thailand, such as cassava or sugarcane or rice. And now basically our model is that we make the application free for the farmer to use because we want the data that they put in. So they don't pay for our app, they just pay with the data that they put into our apps. But we package the data and sell it to like banks or insurance company to come with credit scoring. And we also sell to like large crop buyer like sugarcane company or rice company so that they have more traceability into their supply chain. So that's how we run as a company at the moment. So basically, we provide data point to give access to finance for the farmers better. Thank you.
Thank you, Kun Aukrit. That's really fantastic work. Now let's switch a little bit into Indonesia. Pak Budi, love to hear about what Gojek and GoPay is doing.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank Bank of Thailand for the opportunity and also for the invitation for us to present today. So my name is Budi Gandasoebrata. I am currently in GoPay. So GoPay, as you know, is the payments arm of Gojek. Just wanted to make sure, has anyone heard of Gojek before? Yes. So thank you so much. Gojek started off as a ride-hailing company, started about 8 or 9 years ago. And then because we saw, similar to Bangkok, one of the biggest problem in Jakarta is traffic. And then we saw that back then it's called Ojek. So Ojek is the word for an informal motorbike taxi. And then Nadim, who was the founder, thought, okay, we should formalize Ojek drivers because back then the pricing was very not transparent. It was very unclear. Plus their time utilization is also very low. So it was decided, okay, let's formalize it. And then you started to think, once you give them more opportunity and trust, you empower them to do more. So basically, that's the ethos of what we do today in Gojek and GoPay. Essentially, when you give a person the trust, and also if you believe that they are able to do something that is more than what they are doing today, they'll be able to do more. Because what our Gojek driver do today is they're not only delivering people, they're delivering goods, services, food. They also deliver our talents. So what I mean by talents is you can also order a masseuse, a beautician, so they would deliver the beautician to your house so that you can get your massage, your reflexology, etc. So eventually, after several years, Gojek has become this multi-service platform where we have not only ride-hailing services, but also food delivery, logistic, transport, as well as payments. GoPay itself started as the closed-loop payment system within Gojek. So we thought that back then it was very difficult for the Ojek driver to give changes. So we thought, let's just digitalize the payment and then makes it easy for people to do microtransaction because the amount is very low. So after several years, we saw that the usage of GoPay becomes very high, and then we started to do it for open loop use cases. So today, we have deployed QRs in more than 300, 400,000 merchants throughout Indonesia, and they are already accepting GoPay today. So I'm just going to go through quickly some of the presentation. These are all information that... so this is how the application looks like today. It only has about 7 tiles, but if you click more, there are more. There's about more than a dozen services that we have today. Go Auto is a car reparation services that we have. Go Med is to deliver medicine. And then you have Go Ride, which is the 2-wheelers. Go Car is the 4-wheelers. Go Food is the food delivery. Go Send. Go Points is our loyalty system. Go Mart is the shop. Go Tix, you can buy movie tickets as well as concert tickets. And then Go Pay, which is the blue ribbon up there. You can do peer-to-peer transfer, scan QR, top up, as well as other activities. You can also withdraw to a bank account. So in essence, GoPay, we cannot exist without the help of our banking partners. We utilize the bank as our top-up channels today, as the withdrawal channels today. Every single activities that we do lies underneath the infrastructure of the bank itself. So GoPay right now is probably the largest e-money service provider in Indonesia. So this is actually a research that was done by Financial Times a few months ago. And it's becoming more popular because Indonesia is a very young population. A lot of the people have access to technology through smartphones and mobile phones. Even though access to financial product is very low, but we capitalize the access of technology in people so that we can deploy financial products. So essentially, GoPay, what we do is we are a bridge. It's the same that our colleagues do also in Gojek. They become a bridge where they actually connect services to people. They connect beauticians to people who need. We connect financial services to people that doesn't have access to financial products. A good example is that a lot of our drivers, before they joined Gojek, most of them didn't have a bank account. And when we started forcing them to start accepting non-cash payments, they need a channel so that they can withdraw their funds. That's where we work with the bank so that these drivers can open up a bank account. A good example is we work with one of the banks, and then within the space of about 2 months, we managed to open 30,000 bank accounts to newly onboarded drivers. So when, especially in Indonesia, there's a lot of narrative that says, fintech is out there to kill the banks. I mean, we've proven time and time again that no, we actually can coexist. Actually, what we do is we become the bridge for the banks to reach out people, especially the unbanked and the underbanked. And not only bank account, but also other financial products such as financing, right? We are working with a lot of the state-owned banks in Indonesia in trying to offer microloans. So what we do is, especially for our GoFood merchants, since a lot of these merchants before didn't accept digital payments and they only accept cash, it is very difficult to create a transactional historical record of their growth. Using GoPay, which is like a very simple concept, you were able to build a transactional history, so in a way you're able to project how far they will go in the next few weeks or the next few months. This data, we give them to the banks, and then the bank can assess them, and also, of course, with the consent of the merchant, and then the bank can judge, okay, whether this merchant can be eligible for a loan, for microloans or not. So in fact, KUR, which is Kredit Usaha Rakyat, that's the national program that is initiated by the government. We are working with one of the state-owned banks so that the state-owned banks can start distributing their microloans towards these micro merchants. Another good example is some of our drivers today also have loans or home credits for housing mortgages, where we work with one of the state-owned banks, and then using their transactional historical data of their right histories so that we can assess their characters and how productive they are. And then they are eligible for housing mortgages. So the idea is the same. We collect all the data, and then this data can be utilized, and we work together with the banks to offer mortgages, loans, as well as other financial products. So I don't want to go too long. I mean, there are plenty of stories that I can tell, but this is essentially what we do today. We want to become the platform to reach the unbanked. We want to have a strong collaboration with banks, regulators, and at the end of the day, we want to become an instrument to help MSMEs to graduate and to grow, so that again, as we said, we take them to another level and we can empower them to do more. And of course, using technology, because that's what we do best. With technology, I think we can do more today. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Budi. That's fantastic. I think we're already hearing about trust, hearing about data. Now let's switch tracks to hear from a banking perspective. Kun Isara from the Government Savings Bank. Love to hear more about what you're doing in the space of financial inclusion.
Yeah, it's the main objectives of GSB to do the financial inclusion for our customers. At the moment, we have about 22 million customers and about over 30 million accounts that we have to take care of. And 60% of our customers are the grassroots and low-income customers, and only 40% is the middle income and wealth customer. Then in the last 4 years, we launched a product that are more related with technology to serve our customers, and both the grassroots customer and also the middle income. Maybe can I have the slide? Yeah. We launched mobile banking called MyMo 4 years ago, and at the moment we have more than 6.3 million customers already, and we plan to have 8 million customers by year end. And for next year, customers should double up to 16 million customers out of our 22 million customers. So we hope that 75% of the customers use our mobile banking in doing their financial transactions. And also we launched corporate internet banking, and not only for corporate customers, but also for the village funds throughout the country. We take care of about 70% of the village funds in Thailand. Then we use this kind of technology to work with them, and they can use this corporate internet banking with their agents to do financial service to the people in that area. And also last 2 years, we launched sales and service unit on mobile called Sumo. This is the device that we give it to our staff throughout the country. In the beginning, about 1,100 machines for 1,100 branches. at the moment we double it to 2,000 something machines already. So each branch has 2 machines, and our staff can go out of the branch and do the service to our customers on site, anywhere, to do the deposit, loan, whatever. And we call delivery banking to our grassroots and low-income customers. And for the mobile banking that we launched 4 years ago, it's now quite efficient that the customer can do the financial transaction 24 hours a day, and no need to go to bank, no need for queues, and no need to do anything else rather than using their mobile, and they can check the history back up to 5 years. And these are the features that the customer can use. And for the RFT or transfer money, 50% of our customers, especially upcountry, they do the transfer money transaction. It's about 6 to 7 million transactions a month for this group of customers. And also for the top-up mobile phone, it's about 20% of our transaction, or about 2 million transactions a month, is a top-up mobile phone. And and let me show to you that at the moment, out of 6 million customers, over 75% of the customers, or 4 million, actively use our mobile banking. And you can see that 60% of the group are grassroots, and 40% personal customer, that is middle income up, and mostly low income people, and freelance, merchant. So altogether, 75% are our customer using this device and machine, and on the digital banking, and only 20% government and personnel, salary earners. And because GSB is more or less concentrated on upcountry customers, only 20% use our mobile banking, 80% provincial. And we have, for example, branches. We have about 1,100 branches, 15% in Bangkok, 85% upcountry. Same as the automatic the self-service machine. We have over 7,000 machines, but mostly for upcountry customers. And you can see that 50% you do the money transfer, 15% top up in this case. And for the corporate internet banking, we introduce it to our corporate customers and also the village fund to serve their village fund members in the area. And the village fund community can use our machine and to do the financial transaction together with their agents who use the mobile banking. And only 3 steps that is very easy for them, that the community financial institution transfer money to their agents using the COIB, and the agent provide financial service via mobile banking to the customer in the area. And by the day end, the agent collects transaction and summaries and send it to the bank, and we can do the day end summary transaction, something like this. And at the moment, we have 1,600 customers already in this COIB. And the sales and service unit on mobile, or SUMO, that we call delivery banking. At the moment that I mentioned to you already, we have over 2,000 machines, and 2,000 people go outside of the bank to see the customer on site and provide service on the deposit, loan, bill payment, loan payment, anything. And it's very effective at the moment, and maybe we expand to serve customers on using this kind of machine in the near future. And this is the sample of that, how we introduce how do we introduce financial inclusion by using technology to our customer at the moment. And the last slide on this question is the financial inclusion value proposition. We try to make for customer to make transaction anywhere, both online, offline, nationwide coverage. Make transaction online, no need to go to branch. Convenient for them, easy to use, highly secure, and on-site service and reliable. That is the example of how we apply technology to reach our customers. That's all.
Thank you, Kun Isara. I really like the underlying theme of meeting your customer needs where they are and using tailored solutions to really meet those challenges. Now, let's turn over to Wing from Cambodia. Thank you so much again, Mr. Jojo, for joining us today. Please tell us more about Wing.
Good afternoon. First, again, thank you to the Bank of Thailand for the invitation. Wing has been in the business of sharing our experience in Cambodia, and we think that Wing is the forefront of financial inclusion, because that's what our vision is. Our vision is to give everybody access to financial services to improve their lives. And access alone is not inclusion, right? So we believe that we have to give that initial assumption that by just coming up with all of these products and services, by coming up with all of these payment instruments, by coming up with smartphone apps, doesn't mean that it will include people already. Because there are two most complex next steps after giving access. One is that you allow people to actually understand and know how to use it. The second, which is more difficult, is you have to make it a habit, right? So this is how we have introduced technology and innovation at the base of the pyramid in Wing. Very, very simple. We also have QR code. We also have partnerships with Alipay and WeChat Pay for the Chinese customers. Our old but reliable POS system is still useful. It's still fintech. We also have smartphones. We have a companion card that accompanies the accounts. And we also have a companion card that has MasterCard in it. We also use NFC for buses. So, and then this is how we design our branches, with parasols and with big signages. And this is how we have introduced technology such a way that it's understood by the market. It's understood by our target customers. And we are being guided by the National Bank of Cambodia. They say that if it quacks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, if it moves like a duck, it probably is a duck, right? So that is our guidance in doing financial inclusion. There are only three things by which we're being evaluated whether you are really for financial inclusion or not. If you're giving access to credit and savings, and you have proof by which access could be provided, you are into financial inclusion. If you're coming up with payment instruments that are easy to use and that can actually apply to your target market, then you're on your way to enhancing financial inclusion. And if you're really giving access, real access to everybody, not just the bank, not just the people with money, even those without money, then this is our version of recognizing financial inclusion as a duck, right? So these are the only three things that we use to really make sure that we are into financial inclusion. And we are also guided by shared objectives with the National Bank of Cambodia: encourage saving, promote innovative credit products, enable expansion, and increase consumer empowerment. Financial inclusion to us is behavioral, right? So every time somebody approaches us to say, let's introduce blockchain to these people. When you understand the behavior of the unbanked, they're unbanked people who do not have money, You cannot ask them to have savings. Like, we went to this remote. We were looking for an agent. We went to a remote area in Cambodia, and we said, we would like to convert you. We'd like to convert you to cashless, so that you will be able to have access to financial services. And the first question they said is, why do you need to convert us to cashless? We're already cashless. We don't have cash, right? So you cannot provide a savings product to somebody who hasn't earned money, who doesn't know how to have money. So you have to come up with products and services. So there's a part of the unbanked that's not earning. They have no permanent source of income, irregular source of funds. They're unemployed. They're homemakers. They're children. There are those who are lucky enough to have jobs, like garment workers. They have regular source of income, but not enough to meet personal needs. There are those who are earning much more because they have overtime, they're, maybe managers, and those who are, who already have enough money, like most of us here, who can afford a savings account, right? So in that regard, we categorize products and services across the hierarchy of needs. You cannot give the non-earning bracket of the unbanked an insurance product, for example, right? Whatever you do, you cannot give them an insurance product because they don't know the experience of having an insurance. So we categorize the products across this sector. And we also design our products and services so that it meets the regular requirements of a typical customer, like a garment worker. She eats meals every day, goes to transportation, she takes care of personal care products, top-ups, phone, etc., etc. So we design our user experience so that it's very easy for them to understand. How are we with financial inclusion? We are very, very fortunate to be a showcase of financial inclusion in Cambodia. We have facilitated 100 million transactions last year. By the way, the population of Cambodia is 16 million. We have 4.5 million active customers. We have 1.5 million wallets. Last year, we processed about $18 billion of money flowing into our ecosystem. The GDP of Cambodia is 22 billion. So you can imagine that in the unbanked sector of Cambodia, $18 billion is freely flowing. Those are not going through banks. Those are going through our 6,700 agents. We have 30,000 merchant points. We are now doing international money remittance from 200 plus countries. We've covered the markets 100%. We have more than 50 MFI partners. MFI partners with us because they cannot put up branches in different places. So they use our agents so that they can do loan repayments. We have also 480 corporate partners. The key to what we do is really our unparalleled financial services footprint, wherein we have agents, we have MFI partners, we have Coca-Cola, all of these FMCG companies that use our agents to facilitate retail payments, transferring to the distributor. We connect SMEs, we make them successful. And this is our objective. Objective is at some point in time you can bank anywhere, but actually never at a bank. And these are our branches. Our branches are very, very much near places where commerce is happening, where transactions are happening, and everybody, we have redefined tailoring. Instead of us putting up ATMs, these are our human ATMs. These are entrepreneurs doing all of these financial transactions. And this is Wing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was really fantastic stuff. In fact, two things that jumped out to me immediately was literacy, building habits, but also that you can't build a product that no one actually wants to use. So it's really amazing, and I think what's more amazing is that you use the slide deck of the National Bank of Cambodia logo in there, so it's kind of cool. But speaking of a regulator, love to turn over to Pak Sukarela from OJK. Love to hear a bit more about how do you see financial inclusion fitting into the agenda of OJK, and how does fintech and technology play a role? Love to hear a bit more about your work.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to thank Bank of Thailand for inviting OJK to this very important fintech fair. For those of you who didn't not yet aware about OJK, OJK stands for Otoritas Jasa Keuangan, Indonesian Financial Services Authority. We regulate banks, non-banks, capital market, and we are also responsible for customer education and protection. So we cover all together the regulation and supervision of the financial market. Let me start my presentation with some of the issue we are facing not only in Indonesia, I think globally, all over the world, especially in the Asian region. First of all, problem of the low financial inclusion. While in Indonesia, we have only less than 50% of adult people have a bank account, right? So, and we would like to improve it this year to at least 75% of the adult people, who have access to the formal financial institution. That's the first problem. I think the low financial inclusion is also related to the low literacy and on a demand side, but also problem on the supply side, because the bank, the paradigm, the sort of risk appetite, and also the gap, to reach the unbanked population is become also another challenge. In addition to that, the perception of the bank that the small and medium enterprise has a higher risk and not eligible to be financed. The second issue is the large SME financing gaps. We at least, it is projected 160 billion US dollar there to finance. At least we have more than 80 million micro, small and medium enterprise in Indonesia. So based on this issue, this is one of challenge, but also on the other side, it's a lot of opportunity. There is a huge opportunity for Indonesia, not only for the incumbent financial institution, but also for the financial technology to, to facilitate, to improve this, the financial inclusion, and also to finance the SME, which is also a backbone of our economy. The contribution of SME to our GDP is approximately 60%. 60% of our total GDP is shared by the SME. That's why if SME being providing not only access but also empowerment will be, foster more economic growth, not only economic growth but also prosperity to the society. So. Based on that kind of issue, we and OJK have three strategic objectives that what we would like to create for our financial sector. First of all, we would like to create a stable financial system or financial sector that we are learning from the Asian financial crisis, global crisis. We have to have a resilient financial system in order to absorb both the internal risks and also the external shock. The second, of course, we'd like also to push more the contribution of our financial sector in also to finance the for the economy, not only pulling or taking funds, but also more sort of providing financing to the economy. And the third one, of course, how to create a more inclusive financial system. So these three things together, put together, we hope to see that our financial system is more inclusive and more sustainable going forward. So how we are going to do this? We have three key dimensions. First of all, we change our strategy to sort of more shifting to more balanced regulation, not only focusing on the financial stability, customer protection, soundness of the financial institution, but also how to accelerate growth. This is very important. The real growth that foster, not only economic growth, but also prosperity to our society. And of course, now we call it a new mandate of the Financial Services Authority, which is how to promote innovation. This now become we take as a new mandate, taking proactively the advancement of technology, the coming of the Fintech, and so on as our mandate. This sort of balanced regulation. And then second, of course, we also would like to change the paradigms and also the business model of our financial institution, not only providing financing to the society or to the business, but more also to adopt more, improve their business model, strategy, and process through the financial innovation. And also not less important is how to empower people, because I think the key to financial inclusion and also to foster economic growth is to empower the SME and so on. And next is also the important how to create the more sort of responsible industry through the market conduct. So self-governance, more self-transparent, more discipline, and also, taking care of their risk responsibly in order to also to ensure the customer protection. That's sort of the new paradigm or the new strategy that we would like to see happening in a financial industry, including fintech. And lastly, it's also important to improve the financial capacity of the customer. Not only providing financial access, because providing financial access is not solving the problem, because next to the financial inclusion is the financial literacy. So the customer education is very, very important, and also how to sort of nurture the entrepreneurship in the economy. So based on this holistic framework, we observe that at least there are three innovative approaches on how to improve the financial inclusion, how to finance the unbankable. First of all, we foster our banking, especially the incumbent financial institution, to adopt a new business model with a new strategy, not only focusing on short-term profit, but also taking care of the social impact, the impact investment, and also to the environment. So the people, profit, and planet, and shifting from more sort of product-centric, the silo approach, to sort of more holistic and customer-centric approach. And of course, this require a change in a strategy and platform, sort of more digital. And I would like later in my presentation, I'll share one showcase of one of mid-sized bank that already adopt this strategy. Second, of course, the fintech financing model. Now in Indonesia, we have at least more than 250 fintech, ranging from investment, the blockchain, the aggregator, investment, insurtech, everything, and also credit scoring. Yeah. So I think we are happy to see this innovation grow in Indonesia. But I think to this point, the growing of peer-to-peer platform is also very important. Now we have in Indonesia more than 100 peer-to-peer platform that already finance at least 34 trillion Indonesian rupiah, equal to at least, I think, 2.4 million US dollar, with, I think, more than 3 million now borrowers. Yeah? I think within the less than 3 years, I think with this growth, we are happy to see more sort of more improvement or accelerated growth in the future. And the third one, which is more important, is what I call it a co-creation model, which is a collaboration between the incumbent, especially bank, the fintech, and also microfinance institution. So I'll show this also in my last of my presentation. And I think through this technology and advancement with the coming of the fintech can sort of play a very important role in facilitating, in connecting bank with the microfinance and also with the unbanked population. So let me just share one of the case study in Indonesia. It is an Islamic bank serving productive poor. His target market, as you see in the pyramid, in the I don't have no. Okay, no, we don't have laser. So at the bottom of the pyramid, the yellow one, the productive poor. That's the sort of the target market of this bank. So they target their market not to the bankable population, but unbanked population with a very specific, and especially the women, right? Women. And of course, the funding side is coming from the middle and high income population, especially the rich and also employee. So the good things about this model is that it is not only providing access to the micro and small enterprise, even they provide, empowerment, right? So they provide empowerment, they provide sort of assistance and training, and sort of how to run a business, yeah, starting from there is no business at all, to be a self-employed women. So I think this good model also showing that the unbanked population actually is very trusted. As you see at the lower of the second column, the non-performing financing, or they call it non-performing loans of this bank is very, very low, only 1.4%, right? And if you see also the coverage and in terms of profitability is very high with a return of asset more than 10%. So meaning that the serving the unbanked population is also profitable, right? So the social sort of approach, it is not only providing social impact, but also the economic impact that can improve the productivity and also the prosperity of the customer. So this bank at least currently serving more than 5 million customers. There is 3.5 million active customer with the total asset of 12.5 trillion rupiah. This is one case. And I think it's a good thing also, this bank not only providing financial services, but also, as you see on the right-hand side, they provide also a health service, and also how to provide, entrepreneurial capacity and also empowerment. So my second case is a platform. Oh yeah, just a quick wrap up. It is a platform, Mekar, peer-to-peer, which is collaborate with bank on the left-hand side. So the funding is come from not only online lenders, individual, but also from the bank. And this Mekar, the platform, also collaborate with microfinance. Here we have the cooperative, which serve the unbanked population. So interesting case here is that the online platform, taking fund through online platform, but disbursing loan through offline platform by the mediation of this cooperative. And also, I think lesson learned from this case is that this peer-to-peer platform has a social mission. This focus its value proposition to the unbanked population and also a poor woman. And so far, I think it's quite successful, and also with a very low credit risk and also sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pak Sukarela. Thank you. That's really, really comprehensive. And now we are going to take a moment to turn to Q&A. In the interest of time, what I'm going to do is combine the questions that we have from the audience so that we can really get into the meat of what our panelists can share. So, Kun Aukrit, you actually got a bunch of questions, so I'm going to combo it for you. So I think one of the big ones is, you have a really interesting story to tell in data, using data as a predictive model. And can you tell us more what you have learned? Because underlying data has actually really serious consequences, like you mentioned. If you mispredict what happens, then you might lose your livelihood, right? So tell us more about what you've learned throughout your journey. And in particular, there's one thing I think the audience would love to hear is your double bottom line income. We'd love to hear more about that.
Okay, sure. So basically, I think financial inclusion provide an opportunity for us to do a business that can do good and do well at the same time, because we are building technology that can pretty much help the poor who never had access to financial affordable loans before. So one thing that I learned about data is that I think there's a fun fact that says that 90% of the data that is available in the world just came up in the past 3 to 4 years, right? So it is very new, very untapped, and this provides a huge market opportunity, because as I saw the slide, Indonesia is 120 billion market opportunity. In Thailand, I think it's 30 to 40 billion US dollars opportunity as well. So combined throughout the whole world, there is like hundreds of billions of US dollars in unmet credit needs that you can use data to fulfill these needs, right? And I think the opportunity to do this is that how do you find the right data source that you can build your models? Because from my experience, the algorithm and machine learning model, to build the model isn't so difficult. You can just go Google for like open source algorithm online, and it is out there. But basically, the one who have the competitive advantage is whoever have the most data to feed into these models. So it comes down to what's the strategy to acquire this data. And this is where we are focusing on, and that is where we have the business opportunity, because we have the opportunity to try out different data source, to try out different business, data models that maybe large banks or large business don't have our flexibility and the fast-moving team that can build new model and data source every day.
Thank you very much, Kun Aukrit. And actually, this is a good point to turn into GoPay, Pak Budi. I think just combining the questions, you mentioned about that Gojek has a ton of services on your platform, and that's really wonderful. So as you talk about financial inclusion, it really struck me that there must be a core asset, a core value that you choose to build your foundation for all the things that you do. And then especially if you expand into a multifunctional platform, how does this particular core foundation enable you to do all the wonderful things that you're already doing?
So thanks for that. It is a very difficult question, but if it all boils down to who we do it for, and we do it for our users. And when I say our users, it's not only about the customer, but also about our drivers and also the talents, right? So when we create an app, when people like to use the term super app, it's not a super app for a customer, but it's also a super app for the merchants, for the drivers. So a lot of the services that we do, we try to solve problems for our customers by providing these different services, but also for our drivers. How do we able to collect data so that eventually we can start offering them financial products? And a lot of these services that we have today is essentially to try and build data that can serve as a platform eventually that we can use together with the banks to offer the financial services, which I gave an example earlier in the presentation. So that's one of the reasons why we have multiple services, is to help our users. We have multiple services for our customers. We have multiple services for our drivers. So people, the slides that I show is a app for the customer, but if you see the app for the driver, there are also multiple services there, withdrawal services, and then also people can use, driver can use GoPay too. So driver is also a GoPay user, right? So the idea is, once we start collect more data, as I said, we can start building bases so that we can offer them loans, financial services, mortgages. So it all boils down on the biggest value that we have is the people itself, the user, the driver, the talents, the merchants, and everything that we do, we always consider them as our user base.
Well, I love it. I think it's really amazing to listen to the passion that you guys have for your users. And I think now is a great time to turn over to Government Savings Bank. One of the questions that you receive is that, you talk about really reaching out into the grassroots customers, and putting people first is a big vision that Government Savings Banks have. And I think throughout the panel we've heard one key recurring theme, which is financial literacy, and ensuring that we're empowering people with the right knowledge to make smart financial decisions. Through Government Savings Bank's journey, what have you encountered in terms of the challenges around financial literacy, and how have you activated not only just your technology, your solutions, but also your branch network and people in order to address that gap?
Okay, I would like to, again, talking about the financial product and service, not only the traditional product and service, also the digital financial product and service and channel that we try to use it to reach our customers, and customers can reach us. On the deposit side, we launch many kinds of deposits to our customer, both traditional and digital savings, and also the Pracharat saving, whatever. Also for the Salak, we have a 1 year digital Salak, 3 year digital Salak for our customer can buy it on a mobile phone, apart from the conventional Salak 3 and 5 years.
Wait, what is Salak?
Yeah, Salak, this is the premium savings certificate.
Got it.
Yeah, and also on the loan side, we have a loan for, People's Bank, project for state welfare card holders, street food loan, daily QR loan, for the customer who use the QR payment, QR receive merchant, and we can do the alternative scoring for them. We can offer the loan for elderly people, for the financial service, we can offer national e-payment, prompt pay, payment point, debit card, basic card, people card, mobile banking. And on the channel, we use our branch. We have a self-service machine, Sumo, delivery banking, community, financial organizations, bank agents. And we'd like to elaborate more on the bank agent that at the moment we have 400 community financial service village fund doing this kind of bank agent for us to serve the customer, the villagers, the members of the community. And also the bank agent through the 7-Eleven, we have 13,000 counter service for taking deposit for our customers. And I can show that during the first time of launching, only 6 million baht per month is the transaction, and now it's 10 million baht. And the transaction from 1,000 per day to 1,800 transactions a day. The customer are children, low income, and freelance merchant trader. Children, about 50% of the customer coming to deposit the money through our bank agent, 7-Eleven. And we have the more than 211,000 prepaid kiosks for our customers, serving them around the country. And the transaction increased from 1,300, 1,400 a day to, and the amount is 700 to 800,000 a day. Now it's increasing every day. And in the near future, we can even take deposit and pay. I mean, the customer can withdraw money from this machine. And this is how can we reach our customer using this kind of bank agents and the tools. And also, the last slide for me is that we try to do financial literacy and financial inclusion to our customer by using the 3 creation project. The first one is create knowledge and career for them by working with the university and the other government enterprise or whoever, and also to create financial history. If the customer use our QR code payment, QR merchant, whatever, we can creating the financial history for them, and we can grant the loan for them by using this kind of information. For example, the homestay, we can give the loan for the homestay owner, QR daily loan, and also street food loan. We can do this kind of thing. And the last one is create market and income for them. We can, help them in finding the market and customer. For example, GSB Pacharat market, around Thailand, e-commerce, marketplace, online for them. For example, the Airbnb at the moment, and GSB street food increase revenue for the customer, and call center for Pacharat. We do many kind of things, and we try to not leave any people behind, especially this group customer. Yes.
Thank you very much, Kun Isara. And now, Mr. Jojo, you've clearly built up a wonderful, incredible ecosystem of users and acceptance points. And one of the questions that we get was, what was your model in terms of collaborating with the communities in which you work in? But also, I think one of the most amazing news that I saw today as I just woke up on Facebook, BKK project, the central bank digital currency of Cambodia, is now going live, and Wing is one of the first 4 partners. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Just love to hear more about how that ecosystem play plus this interoperable digital money all comes together in order for Wing to continue its story on financial inclusion. Do tell us more.
I need an hour to answer those 2 questions.
30 seconds, 30 seconds.
I have 30 seconds. Well, the first issue is we want to simplify it. Why? We were dealing with people who can understand only a little bit of what we normally bring out. Nobody understands what blockchain is all about. Nobody understands what digital currency is all about. So we simplify it so that they understand it, so that they're able to use it. Second is that we allow them to make money, right? All of our agents are 6,700 agents. These are poor people. These are people who are not able to have their own jobs. They're averaging $500 to $800 of income every month, right? So if some of this, they are standalone, some of this, they already have a pharmacy, they make more money with Wing rather than they make money with a pharmacy. So that's an incentive. You have to be able to incentivize them. Wing makes money. We are the most profitable specialized bank in Cambodia, despite the fact that our customers are cashless, right? Some of them don't have money, right? So we simplify it. And a perfect example is the simplify it and you have to make money. Our customers are SME, 30,000 SMEs. Our business is not to connect them. Our business is to help them make money, help them improve their lives. So for example, this Bakong project, the Bakong project that Daniel was talking about is a project called Bakong because it's about digital currency, right? So Wing participated because, and the rest of the other participants are big commercial banks. We're the only non-bank, although we're called a specialized bank. But we have to tell our customers that digital currency is as simple as you sending money via the phone. So if I give cash to an agent, it's converted digitally. It's received on the phone by the others, and it's called digital. So in effect, that's digital currency. But so we make them understand it that way, and therefore they participate, right? It's up to us now and the regulator to do what we're supposed to do to efficiently transfer money using blockchain or using digital currency. So that's what we do. Simplicity, you make them make money, and both of these will contribute to having an impact on the country.
Thank you so much. And we'll just hit to the last question. And we've now heard from industry. I think love to hear from a regulator standpoint. After you've seen all the wonderful things happening in financial inclusion, clearly we are not there yet. And it's aspirational, but certainly achievable. From a regulator standpoint, what would be your wish list? What would you wish to see from the industry?
Yes, that's a $5 million question. Actually, I think for a short answer is, first of all, we have to build a supportive and also a sustainable ecosystem. So we have to, collaborate together in order to solve this problem. From demand side, the supply side, regulators, government, and public-private sector, collaboration. That's for sure. And second, of course, we have to not only to change our mindset, but also our heart set, the heart set. Because approaching the financial inclusion it cannot just solve by the mind, but we should more empathize. But finally, the social approach should be combined with the economic approach. I mean, that's for sure if you learning from the Grameen Bank model, the Sparkassen Germany Saving Banks model, the case that I just present to you. It is a kind of combination, a holistic approach, not only the economic profit-oriented, but also the most stakeholders or not shareholders to stakeholders approach. I think that's important. And of course, we as a regulator also, we have to change our hat and also our glass and also our heart set, because we have to have more agile regulation. Agile not necessarily is less regulation, but it's fit to the how to sort of promoting innovation and empowering more customer, and also how to nurture the responsible in the industry. That's a very, very important. So with this, all of this, I believe we can create a more not only sustainable, inclusive, but also resilient financial system in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And that is it for session 4, Scaling Up Financial Inclusion in Modern Technology. I just want to say thank you so much for all the panelists, especially those of you who came from far away to join us here in the Bank of Thailand Learning Center. Again, we'd like to thank the Bank of Thailand for the opportunity to talk about financial inclusion. Clearly, one of the biggest imperatives of our time. With technology comes a lot of opportunity, but I think one thing we've really heard about from this panel, if I may summarize, is trust, but most importantly, accountability. Accountability in the way that we do business and do good for the community. So with that, please join me in giving a round of applause to our panelists for their participation today. Thank you.